I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. This week on the Rough Draft Diaries, we're in another office, but it's quite the untraditional one. Almost every inch of the walls are covered in vibrant, loud, colorful graffiti. It's exactly the space PK wanted to create for his business headquarters.
So my name is Prakash Karamchandani, but pretty much everybody calls me PK, and I'm one of the co-founders of Balance Pan-Asian Grille. We're a fast casual Asian restaurant that my partner and former University of Toledo classmate and I founded in 2010.
Although PK didn't graffiti the office walls himself, artist Tony Touch did that. All he had to do was look into his list of connections to find an artist. PK seems to be connected to a lot of people, and he admits those connections got started in college at the University of Toledo. He met his current wife at the school, and of course he met his business partner Ho-Chan Jiang at the school, and he met other current Toledo business owners. But his time at UT almost didn't happen. PK was originally enrolled at Bowling Green University.
So I was initially pre-med. So I was pre-med when I went to BG, and I've thought frequently about the fact of how I don't want to go into med school. I really didn't like it, but I'm Indian, American, and when you grow up and you're Indian, your parents give you kind of two lifestyle choices. You can either be a doctor or you can be an engineer, and there is no gray area. And so I was, from a very young age, I was tracked to get into med school. So I had to kind of get in and then go back and convince my parents that, look, I got in, I'm qualified, I could be a doctor, but I don't want to do this. I have no enjoyment out of it. And so that's what I did. And I got into business school and came back to UT and got back into it, and it was very different.
It's important to note that PK's parents were pretty open and receptive to his change in heart, with one condition. He could go to business school as long as he kept his IT company running, almost as a backup. He was currently operating this company out of his parents' basement, but he was given the opportunity to move the company when his good friend and future business partner Ho-Chan Jiang asked him to help him out with a new business idea, an idea to start an Asian-infused restaurant in Toledo.
Actually, our deal was I was going to help him open a restaurant, and then I was going to get an office for my IT company in the back, so I was running it out of my parents' basement. So I really thought it would be super cool and like Sicilian gangster to have an office in the back of a restaurant, But I ended up getting sucked in. I don't know, I love it. It's so fast-paced, it's so much fun, and it just scratches this itch to like know that I'm feeding people and feeding people like good food, like stuff I'm proud of, I don't know, it's a good thing.
And the pairing of Ho-Chan Jiang and PK was also a good thing. They work extremely well together, mainly because they're so different.
So we're total opposites. We actually just recently did this personality assessment called the DISC assessment, but it was hilarious because it ranks your personality in 4 different kind of bar graphs, and you can line ours up, and they are the exact opposite. We are we couldn't be more opposite people. Everything to do with what we serve and like just the general day-to-day ops of Balance. It's definitely my business partner. I do the boring stuff. I do marketing, I do development and growth strategy, and I do finance. So I do all the background stuff. Opposites work well together.
And since things are working so well, Ho-Chan and PK have decided to open yet another Balance Grill location.
I haven't made like a formal announcement yet, and I'm planning on it. But we are building a location in downtown Toledo, right on Summit Street, a place that hasn't been occupied in like a couple decades. There hasn't been any like walking traffic or retail tenants or anything like that in there, and we're going to kind of go in there and make it live, literally.
Choosing to build a location downtown was an easy choice for PK, but choosing to build a Toledo business in general was a decision that was initially questioned, and PK can't understand why.
People were asking like so much, like, why did you do this in Toledo? And I try and explain it. Well, number one, we grew up here, so we knew people here and we had resources here. Number two is at the height of the economic depression at the end of 2008 when we were starting this. Cost of doing this somewhere else would be a lot higher. I don't think people realize like how cheap it is to live and operate a business in Toledo. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And then we have all of these great cultural resources here. I think the coolest thing about Toledo is you can kind of do whatever you want. It's like Play-Doh. Like, you can create and become anything you want to be. It's like the American dream here. I think so many people, like, they look around and they see, like, not literal rubble, but like rubble. I and a whole group of other people see building blocks, and like you just pick them up and make whatever you want out of them. I can't say enough about it. I mean, Toledo is an entrepreneurial playground. It's awesome.
Although it's easy for PK to sing Toledo's praises, he also is aware that we have room to grow, and there are things that Toledo needs to move forward.
It needs this trio of businesses somewhere. Somebody needs to make these investments. I'm not that person. I do a very limited amount of things, but somebody needs to come in and put in a gym. We need a pharmacy, and we need a grocery store. And if we had those three things, then downtown would be sustainable living and working. And I think the riverfront is just underutilized. I just don't think we use it enough. That's pretty much it. I mean, the rest of it's awesome. I don't know. I mean, it's awesome.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries. PK's connections for the next episode of the Rough Draft Diaries include...
There's Doug and Jeremy from Graphite Design and Build. There's the Ramsey brothers. They have a warehouse up in Uptown. Then there's this guy named Dane Turbining. He makes some pretty amazing stuff out of metal.
Make sure to tune in next time to find out who I pick on the Rough Draft Diaries.